Welcome back to some key signature review here with Mr. Mayer. Um, Last time we talked about the key signatures that use flats. Today we're going to talk about key signatures that use sharps. For a full rundown of why we use key signatures and why it's important, and the why and the how of key signatures, please refer to the previous video, which is key signatures with Mr. Mayer. It discusses the flat keys. You can find that in the previous day's lesson plan, or if you scroll through the videos uploaded by my account on YouTube, you should be able to find it that way as well. But the full rundown of why we use key signatures, so on and so forth, is in that video. So to save you from having to hear that information again, if you don't need to, if you do need to, please go and watch that video. If you don't, just continue on with this one. We're just going to get into how you determine a key with sharps and bypass the how and the why of key signatures. So here is the sharps rule. So if you have a key signature that has sharps in it, sharps are these right here. They look like hashtags, but they're not. They are called sharps in music. What you do is you take the last one on the right. So in this key signature, we have two sharps. The first one is here on the line F. The second one, which would be the last one in this case, is on the space C. So it would be C sharp, because just like with the other key, here, you can't see that marker that well, can you? Just like when we talked about flats, if a line or a space has a sharp or a flat on it, is that better? Yes. If a line or a space has a sharp or a flat on it, that sharp or flat is like a tattoo. It is permanent for the rest of the piece unless otherwise noted. So this note here, because it has the sharp on it, it's not just C, it is C sharp. So it's on the space C. Normally we would say it's C. Again, because it has that sharp there, it is C sharp. So we take C sharp and we add a half step. If you're not familiar with the whole steps and half steps and how that works with going up and down the chromatic scale, the easier way, it doesn't give you that deep level of understanding, but it's a little easier and quicker to get to it, to get to the answer, is you say, okay, C sharp, you go up one letter, and that's the key. So C sharp, one letter above that is D. Does that make sense? So when we have C sharp, the full way and the real honest way to do it is C sharp, and you go up a half step, and that's the name of the key. So a half step above C sharp would be D. So this key would be D. So if we're in the key of D, the letter name of the note that is do would be D. So D equals do. So D would be right here on our staff. So that would be do. Here would be re, so on and so forth. One below do right here would be T. So there is your example of sharps. Now, if that doesn't make sense to you, please don't continue through this video and go, I'll try my best even though it doesn't make sense. Go back and rewatch this. Okay, that's one of the wonderful things about video is you can go back, rewatch it, go back, rewatch it. So if this doesn't make sense to you, please go back and rewatch it until it makes sense. And just like with the previous video, I think blue's going to show up a little even better. Just like with the previous video, at the end of this video, I'm going to ask you for 3 key signatures. You're going to email those to me just like last time. Use the email that's given at the top of the Google Doc with this lesson plan on it. Shoot me an email with the answers to these 3. I really love seeing your answers. And being able to have that conversation. If you get it right, I love being able to know that you get it right, and acknowledge that and know that my students have an understanding. And if you get it close to right or not right, I love being able to say, no, that's not quite right. Here's why, and explain that to you. Even though we are not in the classroom, I love being able to make sure that you have a better understanding of the content. So please continue. Also, side note here for a minute. Those of you that are continuing to work hard and take school seriously despite not being in the classroom, good for you guys, because not only are you understanding the content that's being delivered, you're also developing those skills of learning online and things like that who knows what the future holds. If you are going into college, things like that, who knows? You might have to take a whole class online. I had to take the second half of one of my minors. I had to do all independent studies and online. So this is a really important skill to be able to develop, not only for circumstances like this, which hopefully this is the only time in our lifetimes that this has to happen, but who knows? Who knows? So good for you for learning the content, and good for you for jumping in, being brave, and learning a new skill, because learning new skills is really beneficial. So that's all. Just wanted to say good on you for taking this head on, guys. So what were we talking about? Sharps. I was using the blue marker because it works better. Okay, here we go. Does that work better? Can we see that better? It's all about the same. I'm sorry. So here's another example. Now, with flats, if we had just one flat using the flats rule, it was kind of an exception to the rule, which is a little bit wonky because you take the second to last. The great thing about sharps is a little bit more work because you have to add the half step or go up a letter or something like that, which is another step that can be a little tricky for some people, and some people kind of get a little thrown off by that step. However, what is nice about the sharps rule is you don't have that exception to the rule with just one. When there is just one, it's like running a race all by yourself. You came in first and you came in last too. So if we have just one sharp, we can say what the last one is, and it is this one right here. It's also the first one, but for our intents and purposes, we'll say it's the last one. So this sharp is on F, which makes it F sharp. We go plus 1/2 step, and that equals G. Shortcut way to do it, if you're not sure about the half steps and what all that means, we say this sharp is on F, one letter above F is G, that's our key. So the key equals G, and if we're in the key of G, since again we use that movable do system, the letter name of the note that is do would be G. So I'm going to give you 3 examples up here. Again, if this doesn't make sense to you, please go back, rewatch this example, rewatch the other example. Find another video. Find a different explanation. If you've watched me explain it however many times in actual class, and plus this video, plus the flats one, and it still doesn't make sense to you, go out and look for someone else's explanation of it. All right? Google key signatures using movable do. Check around. See what you can find. We have the wonders of the internet and YouTube. There's all sorts of great content on there. Go ahead and try and learn on your own, and see what you can find. If you can find someone who explains it better than me, and if you find someone who explains it better to me or better than me, and if you're one of those students that has really struggled with this, and Mr. Mayor is just not doing it for you, and you find a video that explains it, and you have that light bulb moment and go, oh wow, that works, please send that my way. Please send that my way, so that if I have a student who is in a similar situation where it's just not making sense to them, I can say, go watch this video, or I can figure out how they taught it in that video, and if it's way better than what I'm doing, I'll teach it that way if that makes sense to more people. So please, I want to have the best tools I can to help people learn. So if you find something that works better, send it my way so I can help more people out. Here are your 3 examples. Example number 1 is this one right here. Example number 2 is right there. And example number 3 is right here. This marker is right at the end of its life, so I'm going to pick the laptop up and move the camera a little closer to these examples so you can see each one. Here's example number 1. Here's example number 2. Here's example number 3. Again, go ahead and tell me what those keys are. Shoot me an email with to the email address that is on the top of the lesson plan. Good luck, and thanks for your responses.